Hi guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. So today's video, we are going to be taking a look at this set of colored pencils from Arrtx. Arrtx did send these to me. They arrived at my doorstep a few days ago. They did not ask me to do a review. I've never had that happen to me before where a company will just send me something. And it was very much a surprise. It's a happy surprise, but I didn't get any sort of email. Usually a rep will email me telling me, asking me if I'd like to review something or show you guys something. And I'll get some sort of guidelines of like when to post the video or specific things to mention. But I didn't get that this time, so I thought I would just let you guys know I did not pay for these, and just for full disclosure. I do remember maybe last year seeing these out in a smaller sets, like 48 set or, yeah, I think 48 set I had seen last year. And I was thinking about picking them up. I saw them on AliExpress. These are also available on AliExpress and Amazon. I think they're both around the same price. I think they might even be a little bit cheaper on AliExpress. I will put both links down below if you can decide for yourself which works best for you. But right now, the last time I checked on Amazon, these are $43.99 with a 15% off coupon. You know, Amazon, the prices do fluctuate a little bit. I also think these might be the cousins of these watercolor pencils. I did a review on these. These had very mixed kind of reviews. Some people liked them, some people didn't like them. I did like them. I thought they were nice. So I'll link that for you down below too. A lot of links down below. So what I think I'm going to do with these, we're going to open them up, check them out. I'll swatch them out too. Usually I like to do a separate video lately on swatches, but I'm going to put it in this video. I'm just going to I'll make sure I put a timestamp in case you want to skip that. Cut to the chase and get to the end of what I think of these. So let's take a look at the box. The box is really nice. They are very into box design. If you're familiar with Arrtx, you'll know that they always like to do kind of like innovative box design. Sometimes I think they work, sometimes I think they don't work, but this is like a hinged box. It's really pretty. This is like a nice kind of box you would give to someone for a gift. Reveals this really pretty flower motif, nice and colorful. And we open it up kind of like a book. This does remind me of the, what pencils did I have? These remind me of the Arrtx pencils. They have the more student grade, those triangle shaped pencils. I do have a review on those too. But I do think these are meant to be more of a student grade pencil in comparison to the 126 pencils that they have out. I don't think these relate to those in any way. I think these are like a totally different thing. But they do have this nice cardstock swatch chart. And so I do think we'll swatch these out on here. They have these two spaces. I'm assuming maybe just to put like a lighter and a darker color down. I don't know. Maybe I might make my own swatch chart. I'm not sure. We'll think about it. But these have color names on them, whereas the pencils do not have the color names. I noticed that right off the bat when I was taking a look at them. These don't have color names, just like how the watercolor pencils didn't have color names. I like color names on my pencils personally, but at least they do have them on the swatch chart, so we can reference the color names. And let's take a look at the barrels. They're hexagon shaped barrels, so if you have a tendency to have lots of pencils out on the table, they won't roll around. And it looks like they just have a lot of numbers on them. They have a barcode. It's probably their, what I like to say, a style number, just because I'm always thinking about in reference to clothing, but their model number, style number, whatever. Then this number at the end is their color reference number, I'm assuming. So you have 10, 17. They do look like they go in a numerical order. They just start with 10, and then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way down to, oh, it looks like they go in numerical order somewhat, and then they start skipping around. So I guess never mind. Yeah, and then the other side is just made in China, and the little star design Arrtx 10, 17. So this one is called ginkgo yellow. And I don't think they probably don't correspond to the watercolor numbers. I don't think they match. They don't seem like it. I doubt it. Yeah, see how this watercolor pencil says AW 108 and this one. There's no... As far as I can tell, they're not corresponding, but they do look very similar in pretty much identical barrel shape and everything. Yeah, so I do want to see if these are water soluble later on too. So first things first is we'll get them swatched. I'll have to sharpen them first. These are, before I forget, these are 3.3 millimeter. When we come back, we'll talk about them a little bit more. I want to take some time and do a little bit of coloring myself, and then I'll pop back on after the swatch and we'll do a little coloring on screen. So let's get into it. All right, you guys, we're back. The swatching is done. I did spend some time with these pencils. I did a little bit of coloring, and I actually like them more than I thought I was going to like them. And I took them out of the box. I think, and I put them in a case. I think if you are someone who doesn't care about keeping your pencils in order and you're just somebody that like just grabs and goes, I think this is perfectly fine. But someone like me who I need to have my pencils in order, like numerical order or color order, some kind of order. So I did put them into a pencil case, and I do think I will use this box for something else. I was thinking I might use it for putting some scrapbooking supplies or papers or something like that. So it will go to use, just enough for my pencils. And I did end up printing out another blank swatch chart, and I didn't use this just because I kind of wanted a bigger swatch. This is, I found this on printablehub.com, so I'll put the link for that down below. They have a lot of free charts on there. So let's talk about these pencils. Like I said, I did like them a lot more than I thought I was gonna like them. The white pencil was pretty much, I believe it, pretty much useless. I did try, I was thinking I was smart and putting a black marker on top because I was going to try and use it to color over so we could see how the white works, and that's pretty useless in my opinion. So, but that's kind of the case with a lot of budget pencil sets. And these are advertised as oil-based. I don't know. I thought they kind of felt waxy-ish to me, but what do I know? Maybe they're oil. I don't know. Let me know what you think if you have these. What do you think? Are they more oil-based or wax-based? I'm not really that. I don't really care one way or the other. I just, as long as they work, that's all I'm really concerned about. But I thought they were pretty soft. Not the softest pencils, but they were softer than I thought they were going to be. They did wear down very quickly. They didn't really keep their points. That's kind of also why I thought maybe they felt a little bit more waxy to me. But yeah, the colors I thought were nice and saturated. I do think there are a lot of similar looking colors. If you noticed, if you watched the whole swatch video, I did mess up at the end. I think I picked up one pencil twice and I couldn't even figure out which one I had messed up on, but I was able to erase like this couple of ones here, and I think I figured out the right order that they were supposed to be in. They did erase pretty nicely, especially even for the darker colors. Let's see. Well, this eraser is kind of dying. I gotta put a new battery in, but I have another eraser somewhere. But yeah, anyway, they did erase pretty good. I thought. There's 3 metallics. You have a silver. This one is called golden red, which I think I would call it bronze, which I think is interesting that they put in a bronze, kind of like an old school Prismacolor set, how they had silver. They used to have a bronze and a gold. This green gold color was very scratchy. A few of them were a little scratchy. A few of them were nice and smooth. There were a little bit of variations, kind of inconsistencies a little bit, I felt like, throughout the whole set. But I kind of chalk that up to being different pigments. I know I probably sound like a broken record if you watch a lot of my reviews, but usually the blues and the greens and like the darker purples will be a little scratchy. I think that's just the nature of those particular pigments. I do like that there are a lot of grays and like a nice transition from lighter grays into darker grays into blacks. There's 2 blacks, a really dark gray, and then 2 different blacks, which they kind of look almost very close to me. I did feel like there were lacking some pinks in the set. I probably would have maybe eliminated some more identical yellows and given us some more pinks or peaches. For me personally, I like to have a little bit like lighter skin tone so I can build up those kind of colors, but they do have a nice assortment of earthy brown colors. I think there are, I noticed on Aliexpress, they have a 72 set available. I would probably opt more for that set instead of this 120 set, just because it's a little bit kind of redundant. I feel like some of these colors, and just price-wise, I think a 72 set is a little bit more reasonable. I think it's a 25 and some change for the 72 set. I haven't seen the 72 set on Amazon as of yet though, but they do have it in the Arrtx store on AliExpress. I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. I know a lot of you guys do like to know if it's similar or the same as another set. I couldn't really off the top of my head think of anything in particular that I could pinpoint it to that they were the same as. So I did get to color a little with these, and I thought we would do a little more coloring just to see how you guys can see in real life how they work. I worked on this page. I was working on this page a little bit last night. This is a Lana Green page. This is from her Patreon. This one just actually came out, and I thought it was really cute, so I decided to use this one for an example. And this is the paper I am using. I've been using this a lot lately. I use this for the swatches as well as for this coloring page, PDF page. This is a mixed media paper, medium green. So I'll put that down below for you guys too, if you want to pick it up. And this hat I have, I cheated a little bit with this hat. I started coloring it with a brown pencil, and it was just taking forever, and I felt like if I would probably use up the whole pencil if I just kept on layering and layering it. So I just colored it with a brown pencil, and I colored over it with this pale yellow, pale ochre Ohuhu marker, and it worked out pretty good, I think. So let's figure out, what are we going to color? I think we are going to try them out on one of these apples. Well, I already did try it out on one of the apples. I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know how to color an apple, and I practiced first on this like copy paper, and you can see it didn't really turn out so great. So I was a little bit nervous, but I said, let me see if it works out. And I thought it worked out pretty good. These are the colors that I used. I used this 1011. Let's see if we can. I'll tell you the color names. 1011 Canary. I use that as the base. And then I use this 2027 Warm Orange. And a little bit of this green color, 5052. Mint Green. And is that mint green? Oh, yeah. No. Is it? No, I can't read. That's 22. 52 is this color, yellow green, and like the main color. 2050 is Camille red. I actually forgot to mention this part too. I did figure out what these numbers meant. They are kind of like blocked off into color families. All the colors starting with 1 are yellows, 2s are reds, 3s seem like purples, maybe like some pinks. This is a pink thrown in here. This is like the only pink really in the whole set. Maybe this strawberry pink, just a little bit pink. And then the 4s are blues, the 5s are greens, the 6s are browns, and the 7s are grays, and then the 8s are the metallics. So I thought that was a nice grouping of the colors. I thought that was a good idea. So let's color this apple. Which apple should I do? I think I'm just going to color this little bit of an apple. All right, so my pencils are sharpened. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to replicate this apple. Oops. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the same thing I did last night. Does that ever happen to you guys? Let me know. Sometimes I do stuff and I'm like, wow, that came out really good. And then I try to do it again and it doesn't work out. And I'm like, oh, oops. It was like a one-time kind of fluke happening. Now, I was a little bit worried because, you know, like usually if you put like green and a red together because they're opposite, it kind of turns into a muddy-ish brown color. But since these are apples, I wasn't really all that worried because sometimes apples have little brown spots in them anyway. So kind of wanted to do a little bit of green towards the top and the bottom. And I did look at a picture of an apple. I was looking at a picture, and I feel like that kind of messed me up more so than if I didn't look at a picture at all. So when I first started I was picking colors. I think I picked the wrong colors. I didn't pick like this orange color because first I was like, oh, there's not really orange in an apple, but I think I needed it to kind of build up into like the transition from the yellow to the orange to the red color. You know what I mean? I don't know why I keep saying you know what I mean. But then it's kind of just like layering, kind of almost like hair-like strokes I'm doing with this, the red to start with. I don't know if it's gonna work out so great, but we'll see. I'm gonna put some more orange. They layer up pretty nicely, I think. They don't like blend, I think. You do have to make sure you're putting in like really light layers to get a nice transition. I didn't really like how, well, I felt like I didn't really have the right kind of colors necessarily to work that great for a lighter skin tone with this set, but I feel like it kind of worked out. And yeah, so I do like them for the hair. I think the hair came out good with these. I'm the kind of person, I like to use different pencils when I'm doing a page. I don't usually use like one pencil for a whole page. I'll use different sets for different things. Like I'll have a favorite set for hair, a favorite set for skin, a favorite set for clothes, that sort of thing. So I feel like a little bit frustrated when I have to use only one pencil for a whole page. But when I do a review for like pencils, I'm like, oh, I kind of have to. I feel like I have to use only one pencil, just so we can get the vibe of the pencil. I don't know about this. Maybe I need to put more red on top. I want to have, yeah, need a little bit more red in here. Throw some more orange. The yellow kind of blends everything together. These are a little bit dusty. I will say they're a little bit dusty. They are, I think it's just because they're soft. And I think if you do like a blunter sharpen on these, they won't be as crumbly. I don't know, this kind of ended up looking a little tomatoey maybe, but let's see. Throw some more green on top. Might work some more later on this one. I did try to use a blender pencil on these. It didn't really seem to work that great. In fact, let me pull one out here. Oops. Try to use see how the Prismacolor blender works. It works a little bit, but not, yeah, it kind of works. I fear we ended up making this look a little tomato-y more than an apple, but you guys get the idea, I hope. Get kind of a demonstration on how well they layer and blend a bit. Yeah, I guess kind of looks like an apple. Oops. I want to keep messing with it because then I feel like too much, then it's just going to be like a big red blob. All right, so let's zoom out. So I did want to see if they were water soluble. I have ideas at the beginning of the video where I film these in different parts and I forget what I said in the beginning we're gonna do. But let me grab just I have just a plain piece of cardstock. And try this red. Red is usually the most kind of like water. Whenever we have pencils, red usually bleeds the most, I think, when we apply water. So let's try red. I'll do this green too. And then I'm going to try a blue. We do like a really dark blue. Let's do this one. 4041. Okay. Yeah, really, like a little bit. Because if you put like a lot of water, a little bit, not too bad, I don't think. This green one. Green one's pretty light, so you couldn't really tell anyway. Let's see the blue one. A little bit. It's really like the red, which I think that's normal. All right, so final thoughts on these pencils. I made a mess, but I think they're pretty nice. They're a nice pencil. I don't think they're like any kind of revolutionary pencil that you have never seen before or anything, but I think they're a nice pencil. I do, oops, I'm a little bit crooked. I do think for the price, I would be more into them if they were a little bit cheaper, like say like $29.99 price point would be ideal for me as a consumer. But I kind of get why they're a little bit more expensive because I think we're paying mostly for the packaging, which I do think it has its place out there because there are lots of pencils out there on the market. So I feel like you need it to be a little eye-catching to be noticed in the market. But I think the 72 set is probably the way to go with these just because I think there are a lot of similar colors in this 120 set. A lot of the pencils, I noticed a lot of pencils have only been coming out in 72 sets lately. I think kind of is like the perfect spot for colored pencils. I think 72 is like a nice, concise amount of pencils. Yeah, so I think that's all I have to say about these pencils. I'd love to hear your opinion on them down below if you picked them up. So I'm going to try and finish up this page. Hopefully I will finish. This is the first time I've colored probably in like two months maybe. I've been kind of off the coloring wagon lately, so I'm trying to get back on, get my mojo back going with this page. Maybe it'll help me out. I do have another set of pencils to review soon too, so look out for that. And I hope you guys all have a really great rest of your day. Happy coloring, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.